No matter how much success the world thinks you have, no matter what we've accomplished, every great leader has something they're working through, something real, something unresolved, something that others miss. My name is Rocky Garza, and I've spent over a decade coaching and advising some of the most successful leaders in life and business. Today, I'm honored to have with me Josh Patten. You may know him from his long tenure at Aetna as a successful person in business, but there's something that you may have missed. He often is asking himself the question, am I doing it for me, or am I doing it because I want them to like me? Because we're not talking about the version of them that you already know. We're talking about the version of them they don't always show. Let's get into it.
All right, my man. I appreciate you being here with me. You've been in leadership for a long time.
Yeah.
I would even venture to say you've probably been in leadership the duration of your career. You kind of got thrust into it early on, and then you've kind of been on this fast forward track. Maybe for no unintentional reason other than you typically are somebody who's willing to say yes.
I'm bossy.
You're okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. What is something that you are currently experiencing as it relates to your ability to be a leader and the role you've been given? And this doesn't have to be obviously specific to even just leadership in the corporate setting. You're married, you've got kids, you've got a community, you've got neighbors, you are somebody who's almost willingly or woefully says yes often to many things.
Yeah.
Talk to us. What is something you are currently facing that you realize is needs to be addressed?
Man, great question. So you're right. I've been in leadership a long time. I've been in kind of crisis leadership for the past 3 or 4 years where it's layoffs, turnarounds. And so my current role, I've been through 4 layoffs, 4 bosses in 18 months, all with kind of the same teams. And so working through really how to care for them, but also like lead well in the future. And so I'm learning that I really haven't done that well for the past 18 months.
Define not done well, because in your first 42 seconds, I have about...
Yeah. That's why I jumped in.
I mean, I am trying to buy my time, my boy. So
we're here for
when you what do you mean you don't feel like you're doing it well?
I lost me in it, right? So like if you were...
So let's pause everything.
Yeah.
In your pursuit of being an effective leader, through what you have said is consistent crisis.
Yeah.
Kind of over at least the tenure of the last 5 to 7 years or so.
Yeah.
The constant, I heard you say, is you.
Yeah.
And for some reason, maybe we'll get into it, maybe we won't. One person who hasn't been let go or asked to leave has been
you. No, that's true. Yeah.
In the attempt to lead others, you feel like the one person you're not leading is
me.
You.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. I mean, if I were to think about what I typically really focus on or who I am as a person, I call it a spark. Like I like new things. I like building. I like vision. I like storytelling. I like having people show up and get excited about the day to day. And I think about 5 years ago, since it wasn't exciting, I stopped doing that. Right. And so I was telling myself, hey, I'm a systems person now. I'm a process person. None of that's true, right? I do systems, I do process, but like what fires me up where I've seen success is that spark. And so it really came to a head about 2 months ago when I sat back and went, I'm tired every day. Like every day I log off and it's like, I survived. I'm not thriving. I'm not happy. I'm not growing. And it was like, why? Because if you went back 5 years ago, I'm exactly in the seat I wanted to be. I lead a good sized team. I'm at a Fortune 6. Like I'm on the upward trend, beautiful family, like all the things are good, but I'm just exhausted. And it was like, what is making that happen? And I think it's really the gap between the things that tend to really fire me up and what I'm doing daily. And so I'd ask myself like, why is that?
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Go back and say that phrase again.
Yeah.
You feel like you've recognized the gap is?
Kind of who I am and what I'm doing daily.
Okay. Who you believe to be at your core.
Yeah.
And what is currently required of you to perform on a daily basis.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go back just a second because you said if you were to backtrack 5 years ago, you are in fact sitting today.
Yeah.
Maybe quite literally.
Yeah.
You are today.
Yeah.
where you hoped you would have been 5 years ago. And then you rattled off a list of things, which I greatly appreciate, that were not just professional, they were both and, right?
All the things.
That the company and leadership and responsibility and family. Now, let me ask you this. Do the things you rattled off, and this is not intended to be a loaded question, are the things you rattled off things that fire you up? So that you gave me like parameters for why you are where you wanted to be. Do those things in and of themselves make you happy?
We going honest, quick?
Yes.
No.
Okay. So I think it's really important.
No.
It's really important because, again, you're a human like the rest of us.
Yeah.
But you said I'm exactly where I really wanted to be. And yet, for some reason, I don't feel the way I thought I would feel about being in this seat. It's
yes and, right? Like I'm
you're speaking my language. Go ahead.
Grateful for my family, for the job, for provision, all those things. So like I'm grateful for those and I'm happy with them. And I have bigger visions, bigger goals that we're not quite there yet. Right. And so it's a weird tension of being content with all the good I have and knowing that there's a lot more out there that I haven't really focused on. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I live in that tension a lot of like, how do I really settle into today and enjoy today, enjoy the family, enjoy work and all that, while also knowing I have big visions and that being okay too. Mm-hmm.
And I think those two things historically are for most folks are at odds.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The things we have a deep desire and a passion to go get, and the things we currently have. Yeah. And let's get rid of things, because I think most of us are going to hear that and we're going to immediately think monetarily, and that's not what we're talking about.
Impact, relationships.
Okay.
Growth.
With the team you have right now as a leader, do you believe you are impacting their life?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But not at the level I want to. Yeah. Yeah.
Give me an example of a time in your life where you were doing something and in the present moment you thought, man, I am doing this to the level exactly that I expected.
Never.
Okay. I think that's
never.
Let's before we try to attempt to pretend you or I could resolve that. Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Get your popcorn and we're going to be,
right.
I think it's worthwhile to just sit with that for a second, to not try to explain it or to justify it or to say it's good or bad or right or wrong.
Yeah.
We often talk about that as space.
Yeah.
Space, a momentary pause to assess what is. I heard you say to me, what is true is that it's really, really difficult for you. Maybe almost impossible to the extent we can't think of anything off the cuff. A time when you were actively doing the thing that you wanted to be doing to the degree by which you believed you were capable.
Yeah.
In the moment you thought, I am so satisfied with myself.
Yeah, never. I can't picture one example. I've always been wired for there's more potential, more. I mean, as a kid, right? Like, if you ask most kids, what do you want to do? Like firefighter, policeman. I said I want to run international businesses, right? At 5, like that was just like, that seems awesome, right? My mentality is usually like, I don't run today, but if you said, hey, you want to do a marathon? I'd say, no, I want to do an ultra marathon. Well, like, dude, you don't even walk today. And it's like, yeah, but that's where I'm headed, right? And so like, I really struggle with, I always have the biggest version of the thing, but I haven't learned how to really enjoy that journey, right? Because to your point, when I'm in it, it's like, yeah, I'm a good dad. Pause. But I know there's more I could do. And so I don't go to bed content that I'm doing. It's always like, we should do this. We should spend more time in the evenings doing this. We should read more. We should do these activities. Like there's just a constant flow of more. And that causes a lot of tension with also being content with what's happening today.
Are the two ends of the spectrum content and more? Because I'm a words guy.
Yeah, I'm never dissatisfied. There's a difference between being like discouraged with myself or I'm not doing okay. It's not that. It's not like I'm a bad dad or I'm not showing up well at work or I'm doing a bad job. It's just I don't feel like I've reached my potential.
Right.
So
then give me your description in reality of what it feels like. What is on the opposite side of this great potential.
Yeah.
If it's not dissatisfied, if it's not bad dad, what is it? What do you say? You're laying in bed at night. You're running through the day.
Yeah.
Took one extra call. Went 8 minutes over you wanted to.
Yeah.
Fam was already eating.
Yes.
You sat down.
Yeah.
By the time you got your first bite in, one of the kids was already done.
Yeah.
Everyone's asleep now.
Yeah. It's not dissatisfied. It's more like inadequate. That's more of it. Right. Like if I've been kind of processing this ahead of this conversation, right? Like if I picture childhood on, it's always like, do I belong in that space? Am I enough for that space? You know, can I be at that table? And so I think that push for more, right? When I don't get there or get there fast enough or see it, the story in my head is I'm not enough. I don't belong at that table. I don't have the skills for that table.
And the way in which you find belonging is by finding something in your life that would communicate you are enough, because the people that belong are enough.
Yeah. And what's weird is I don't find that, right? Like I think we talked before, like I feel tribeless today, right? Because like I have high vision, but I don't want the hustle and grind culture, work 100 hours a week, do it all. I also don't find pleasure in like the suburban barbecue dad, and no offense to them. That's right. Awesome. They have that, like those.
Great.
Those,
by the way, it's a great phrase right there.
Yeah, but it's like those are the two prototypes in my head that I have, and so I find myself
right. But the reason you can't find the thing that describes you though is because you've only told me there's two options.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
So there is not, or it's this proverbial option that's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
That has no name, doesn't belong, doesn't fit, and is alone.
Yeah.
So you're either going to be hustle grind culture, Gary V circa.
Yeah. That's who I pictured. Yeah. That's
2019,
that's exactly right. That's
right?
I pictured. Yep.
Yeah. Either we had a garage sale in between all of our meetings, right? Which is funny. Shout out Gary V. He's not that way anymore, maybe. Yep. But, or like you have a pellet grill and you only make briskets for your neighbors because you have, of your 48 hours in the weekend, you spend 57 of those just drinking a beer, doing nothing but watching smoked meats.
Yep. And those are my two prototypes.
Okay. So you're right. Let me just say, as a way to both push against what we're saying and also theoretically to encourage you. If that's the case, I want you to know that you're not wrong. You don't belong.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
So the feeling you have potentially is not something that is wrong, bad. It is actually accurate.
Yeah.
What if in fact you do know you more than we give ourselves credit for? And the feeling you have of not belonging based on the framework that you have created is true.
Yeah.
You do not belong in any story that you've created because you have not, there is no space for your character.
No, that's true.
So then potentially we can have the feeling of not belonging, but it doesn't have to be synonymous with isolation. Not that you're not isolated. That's a different, we'll get to that here in a little bit. That's a different thing. Right. But I think, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And it does make sense. And I think the struggle too is, I'll look at it. I'll just use the table metaphor. Like I belong at that table with those people. I get there and go, that's not my table. I belong at that table. And then I go into a frantic energy at that next table. I get there and I'm like, nope, not my table.
Yeah. So what about this? This parallel for your personal life, and I think parallel for leaders who are listening, who are thinking to themselves, I feel in the depths of my loins what my guy Josh is talking about here. How do I?
Yeah.
The example that you have given again and again and again, and I hear it all the time from leaders, whether they're executive leaders, whether there's a new manager, pick it from, I'm going to categorize a leader as anybody who has another single human being saying, I like what you're doing. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Right? We'll give it leadership that.
Yep.
Is most leaders are looking for a table or the table where they think they are supposed to go and belong.
Yeah.
The greatest leaders I've ever known say, here is my table, and I would love for you to come and have a seat. Now, much harder.
Well, it's actually even worse than that, because it's not even, if I'm honest, it's not about belonging to the table. It's other people saying I've made it to that table. Right? If I really dig down, it's not like, oh, these are my people, I'm here. It's, oh, they said I couldn't get to that table and here I am. That's the drive.
I'm of the argument that I don't think that's actually driving you at all. I think it's actually much more inhibiting than it is driving.
Oh, for sure. Oh, it makes me make bad decisions. It makes me,
Describe your ideal table.
oh, that's a great question. I think it's being around people who are able to see a vision bigger than what's in reality. And not material, not I want to have the most stuff, but solving big problems, building relationships, connection, right? Like think of the Bob Goffs of the world, right? Like I don't have permission. There's no playbook. Like I'm just going to go do it. Right. So the people that I look at and go like, man, that's the leader I want to be, or the I don't need permission. There's no road to get there. This thing hasn't been built. No one thinks we can do it. Like it's the frontier world, right? It's like, and not because I want to be, like I said, super wealthy or all these things. It's just like, I'm just going to go do my things. It's the right thing. And I'm here. And so it's those people that fire me up of like, you did what? How'd you know how to do that? And they're like, I just did it.
Yeah.
You know,
I heard everything you just described is what you have told me your daily life looks like.
yeah. It's just less sexy. You're talking about corporate.
No, right. But I'm saying,
Yeah.
go full picture.
Yeah.
Do you think the dads who you want to spend time with are laying in bed at night saying, I am so awesome? Or do you think they're laying in bed at night going, there's a little bit more I could do?
Yeah. I think it's that one. Yeah.
The leaders that you admire and you really want to pursue to be like, do you think that they log off at the end of the day and go, I am such an incredible leader?
No, not at all. No.
So maybe you are in fact exactly who you think that you are. And maybe the level of discontent that you feel is not because of your inability to achieve some proverbial destination.
Yeah.
It is actually the ability to daily still have a vision for what's possible while maintaining what's necessary for today.
No, that resonates. And I think where in the past that's gone dark is where I've stopped dreaming, right? I remember about 3 years ago, I went to a men's retreat. It was a great 2-day weekend in the mountains of Tennessee. It's about 25 entrepreneurs, business owners, like the guys I just described, trying to do new stuff. Session 1, hour and a half. Hey, let's journal about what you dream about. What are the big things in your life? What are the 10X things? What are the things you want to do? I sat there for an hour and a half on a blank sheet of paper. Just stared at it. Guy walks over. Hey, what are you dreaming about? And I went, I couldn't tell you. Yeah, but you're a dream guy. I said, yeah, but it's blank right now. Right. And so I found myself in that pattern of like, all those things you said are true. Right. I want to dream. I want to be big. I'm going to do all these things. But when I get tired, it all kind of shuts down. And I resort to the processes, the procedures, the tools, the tracking sheets, the things, all the things I can control, because the things that I'm going toward have gone a little bit dark.
What reinvigorates the dreamer in you?
Rest.
Define rest. Define your version of rest, not Webster's.
I actually have no idea.
I think that's really, really important.
Yeah. I mean, I just still remember about a year ago, my wife, who's like the most practical, call her my gravity, right? She's like just everything is baseline with her. She doesn't get up or down. She's just here. Whereas I'm like this thing. And I said, I'm so tired. And she was like, wow, you had the whole day to yourself. Like you went on a little retreat. You did this. You took a nap. Like you ain't got a massage. Like you're tired. And I was like, oh, I haven't had any rest. And she's like, that's a whole weekend. Like, what do you need to unwind? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I go out with buddies and I don't unwind. I read. I don't unwind. I sleep. I don't unwind.
Define unwind. Because right now you have rest and unwind synonymous. Not saying they're not, but I don't think they are.
Yeah.
Define unwind.
Yeah. For me, the way I think about it is like, I always do a number scale. So it's like a 1 to 10, 10 being like steam coming out of the ears, can't process rationally, just like hair on fire. Okay. And so for me, like when I say I stay at an 8, like I go to sleep and I'm stressed out thinking.
Right.
You know,
but didn't you just tell me like 15 minutes ago that that's what you love? Didn't you tell me
Isn't that
that what
crazy?
you love is to like, where are we going? What are we doing?
Yeah.
What's the dream?
Yeah.
So again, let's come up with another word that you're going to make synonymous with rest. That's not unwind. Because I think the last time you were unwound, you were in the mountains with a blank piece of paper.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's real.
So I don't think that's what you're going for.
No, I'm not.
I think you're aware of what you're going for. I don't think we have the right words to describe what you're going for. So then again, we're in pursuit of something that's on a scale that we actually don't want either one of those, which means there's no choice but failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steam in my ears, in meditations, polishing the spoon. Those are the two choices.
So that's the visual, right? So like faith is important to me, and I have this visual. I'm torn between two people.
Okay.
Or at least in my head.
Okay.
Right. One is.
By the way, do you see a pattern here?
Oh, I know.
This is the fourth.
Oh, I know.
There are two choices in my life.
There are always two choices.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's a theme, right?
Yeah.
But it's always two choices. One is the high energy, go, solve it, toss me in any scenario. The second is like the monk in the mountains, quiet, doesn't talk, just like is just Zen.
Right.
Right. And so in my head, for whatever reason, that's what I think of when I think unwind is like, oh, nothing bothers him. He's quiet. He's still. I haven't been still since I was 3 months old. Right. Like growing up, my mom called me a hurricane. Like I enter a room, I'm big, I'm loud, I like to laugh. Like I bring the energy and then I go to sleep. Like there is no like just slow down. And so I think the part for me, and you hit on it, is I'm not even sure I know like what word to use for unwind or slow down, because they're really, I don't ever feel that speed.
So then why are you in the constant pursuit of something that you can't describe when you don't actually want?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to go deep again. I think part of that is I have felt for a long time, and I think it's part of growing up, and it's just part of some of the last few roles, like the energy I bring is too much.
And here's a reality. Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
But the answer then is not no energy.
Yeah. And that's
Like,
but that is, I mean, that's if
I know, I'm not saying, I understand. I am not saying anything to you that I have not thought about myself or to myself at some point in my life. Be very clear about that.
It's not, I never think dial it down one. I go 0.
Right.
Sit. Calm. Peace.
Right. I was, this was probably 2 years ago. I was we were in LA visiting some friends we've known we met them in 2009. They actually like helped rebrand our photography business back in 2010. So I've known them for 15 years. Okay.
Yep.
And Rocky 15 years ago was not Rocky today. I'll be very clear about that. And so we were there, and we were in town, and we went to hang out. We went to their house, and the kids were in the pool. And so we're kind of sitting in the living room talking, and we'd been there maybe a couple hours. And she's the wife of a good friend of ours, and her and I and you, we all three have very similar personalities.
Yeah.
And she looks at me and she says, "What happened?" And I'm kind of like,
today, this morning. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
And she said, "What happened to you?" I said, I asked me a different question.
Yeah.
She says, "I have been baiting you since you got here, and you won't engage or argue with me." She said, I haven't seen you in a few years, but I don't know this version of you.
Oh, interesting.
And so where old Rocky would then immediately jump in to tell her that she's full of shit.
Oh, yeah.
She's wrong. And let me tell you, you want to bait? I'll give you some bait.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to catch a fish? We can catch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I sort of sat there and thought, and I said, I don't know. I said, to be honest with you, you haven't said anything to me that I thought was worthwhile for me to argue with. And I think what I realized about myself in that moment is that I, almost identically to you, had spent so much of my life at the ever ready to defend or portray or hold fast to, and over the course of my life, it was, to be loved, and then it would turn in, then I matured a little bit, and it was like, then I'm just here to defend it. And then it turned in, I matured a little bit more, and it was like, no, I'm just here because I want to make sure that you know what you think. And then I matured a little bit, and then it turned in, I'm going to tell you what my conviction, because if it's a conviction, I think, and you don't have to agree, but I absolutely can tell you what then I think I don't even know if I'm with you. I don't even know if I have the word now that I can absolutely believe everything that I want to believe, and I don't ever have to tell you what that is for me to believe it. Yeah. And I think there's a part of that is because somewhere along the line, I stopped for the majority. Completely, let's be honest. The answer to that's no. I stopped for the majority of the time
Yeah.
waiting for you to invite me to your table so that I could feel like I belonged.
Yeah.
I am in a chair, and occasionally there is a table and occasionally there is not. But there is always another chair if you would like to join me.
Yeah, that's good.
And if you want to, you're going to have to enter into the energy by which I am bringing, because it's the chair next to me. If you don't, I will continue to do my very best to learn, to not be offended. If you sit down and very shortly after, you get up.
Oh man. Yes, that's the part right there. Right. I think where I tend to overplay is I start to act like me, right? High energy, fast decisions, fast communication. And then I flip and worry about, oh, are they okay? I need to check in with them. Should I tell them why I said it that way? Right. And for real desire that I want them to be happy.
Right.
That can be true.
That is true.
But like, I'll make a decision in 2 seconds. I need 2 facts, 2 seconds. And then I'll spend 3 hours making sure everyone's okay with it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Exhausting.
Do you think that they care about the decision that you made? The majority of the time.
No. Not to the level I spend time on it, right? Like, I'm sure in the moment.
Do you think it is their responsibility to let you know if they feel some kind of way about the decision you made?
Yeah.
Do you think your job as a leader, I know that all these sound leading, you can disagree with me right away. Do you believe it's your role as a leader to make quick decisions the way that you have been equipped to make them, and hold space with a chair next to you so that if someone has a question about that decision, you have built the kind of environment where they are always free to come and have a dialogue?
Yeah. Yes. And I will say that has been a theme of my teams, as they'll say, this is a very open team. I can ask you anything, right? So like,
when your kids disagree, do they come and tell you?
oh yeah.
Does it make you feel like they hate you?
No, I love it.
Don't say anything. Just sit there for a second.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I give them space to come do that. I don't go seek them out. How did you feel when dad told you to do that? Right? When they walk in the room, I put my phone down. I look at them. What's going on, bud? Oh, you made me mad. Oh, let's talk about it. Right? That's your chair metaphor. I don't do that at work. At work, I'm like, sit. You good? Everyone okay? You good? Did I say that right?
Why?
Is the email right? I don't know.
Because I would venture to say there is a lot more on the line at home than there is in the office.
Oh, big time. Big time.
And that tells me that you are very keenly aware and capable of leading the way that you were made and designed to lead, because you do it daily.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. This has been like the last couple of years thing that that's been like a new foible for me, right? This isn't like it's always been that way. My nickname used to be the Tank because like I would just say it how it is and keep on moving, right? Like this is just how we're going to do it. And so I think I tried to adjust and make sure there was space,
right,
to disagree. And then I think just in all the crisis and stuff, again, I lost the storytelling, I lost the vision. And so it's much more about making people happy, right? And so it even happened yesterday, right? I was on a meeting. One of my peers was really sending some disruptive messages and just kind of going off. And I was very nice, kind, but clear, and just said, hey, you're hearing this wrong. Stop texting me. Listen to the meeting. We can talk later, right? Clear, kind. That should have been good. I bet 17 times in the next hour, I thought about, should I Teams her and just tell her I've had a hard day? Or like that it's been a rough morning. And it's like, I said it kindly and I said it clearly, which is kind of my principle. So I'm like, what in me makes me want to go back and apologize for being clear, concise, and kind?
It's a great question. What makes you want to go back and apologize for being clear, concise, and kind?
I literally all day yesterday thought about that one scenario, and it was like, what in me? It was like a drive. 3 or 4 times I pulled up Teams to message her, and I was like, why? That message, if it was to me, I would have been perfectly fine. Anybody else that reads it, I would feel like it was a good message. And I'm like, I don't know what's in me that makes you want to like go then comfort them in that.
Give me a different word. Because I don't think it's about comforting them.
No, probably not. Because I still like a fight. I like a fight.
I agree.
Yeah. I like the combat, but then I don't want people to see me as combative.
So, right. Okay. So we have,
Make sense?
Yes, but we have a reoccurring theme here.
Yeah.
You know what you want. You're using a word to describe it that you hate so that you can have a reason to hate it.
Yeah.
You don't like combat. No. You like healthy conflict.
Yes.
You like the opportunity to have a healthy abrasion so that we can both get to where we want to be.
Yes.
But if you call it combat, you're going to hate it.
Yeah.
But you're going to love it because you're going to want it, but not do it. And then if you think someone else is being combative with you, you're going to pull it up 17 times to apologize because you weren't trying to fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Follow me?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I mean, I definitely lean on clear, fast communication.
Great.
I'm going to say
right. So then don't call it anything else.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to defend anything else. But you're defending clear, concise, and kind.
Yeah.
Because you made that the definition for combative.
Yeah.
So you're wrestling with this tension of, I think this is what I did, but I keep calling it this. But if I called it this, I better make sure she's okay because I wasn't trying to fight. I was trying to be clear, concise, and kind.
That story, right? Like I think the way I'm wired, like I can't let things just not be dysfunctional in a company, right? So like I've never known what my lane is. I don't understand hierarchy. Like if it's broken and it's over there, I'm going to go try to fix it. And if it's the CEO that's the problem, like we're going to sit down and have a conversation, right? And so I think over the years, like I have a high skill at those high conflict conversations, right? But along the way, I've entered company cultures and new teams, leaders that see that type of communication as combative. Hey, you're pushing too hard. Hey, you're being too upfront. Hey, dial it back some. That's too. We need to just be kind and gentle, right? And so I don't know in my head, I've calibrated the difference between clear, concise, and combative.
I agree.
Because to me, I'm like, that was combative. I'm like, I held someone accountable. To me, that's different, right? Like I almost see the person talking combative of like, well, you don't understand accountability because we both showed up to do a job. You didn't do yours. And now we're going to talk about it, right? Not combative. I'm not going to hit you. I don't talk about your character. I don't talk about, how you look, how you show up. It's like I'm very good at that candid conversation. But over the years, the story is, there you go again. You're being the fighter, be the lover, be the monk. People need a monk. And it's like, but I'm not the monk.
I agree. The last statement you just said is the clearest, most truthful thing you've said so far.
Yeah.
There are going to be scenarios in your life and in your leadership where there's a time that people need a monk.
Yeah.
And they should go to his or her table.
Yeah.
And there are times that people need someone to be in their corner.
Yeah.
And to bring energy and to bring thought and vision and clear, concise, kind communication to be held accountable for what they said they wanted.
Yeah.
Those people will come to your table.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the gap for me because I want to be both.
I agree.
Yeah. I want everyone at my table.
Right.
You left my table?
Right.
Is it me?
And people don't want to be at your table.
Yeah.
And let them go.
Yeah.
They belong someplace else. And that's not necessarily barring that it fits in your parameters of who you are, being kind, being clear, right? Like we talk about often, that authenticity is often used as an excuse in leadership.
Sure.
Because we go, it's just who I am and I'm not changing for you. I want to be very clear. You're not saying that.
No.
If you're listening, we're not saying that. We're not saying if you, I heard Josh and he said that he gets to be himself and screw everybody else.
Don't be a jerk.
That's not what we're saying.
Yeah.
We're not saying, we're not trying to use authenticity as an excuse.
No.
We're using authenticity as the reason, as an invitation. There are some conversations you need to lead and there are other ones that you need to be in, but you need to be quiet.
Yeah.
Because it's not for you. Just because you have an opinion, which we both do about almost anything.
Oh, sure.
Doesn't mean anybody else needs to hear it.
Yeah. I hear you.
And there are other moments where we're probably the singular thing that needs to be heard. And both of those are good.
Yeah.
And our value is not tied to the rest of the room's ability or desire to hear us.
Yeah.
The opinion or the thought or the impact I can create exists, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. And it's that focus, right? Like there was a scenario yesterday. We're in a very tense 6-month negotiation with a very large company. It's very tense. It's weekly. And we're at like the walk away stage. And one of their CEOs came and was completely inappropriate on the call, right? My boss was there, other leaders, nobody said a word. I waited 27 minutes. I gave him 3 chances. In my head, I said, okay, if he hits that 4th statement, I'm coming off mute and this is going to change a little bit, right? And in that moment, he said that thing that I was like, all right, that's number 4. I jumped in very calmly, very clearly, but I set the stage of like, this is not how you're going to talk to my team, to us, or this is over today. You guys take 1 minute, you go on mute, get yourself together, we'll come back in. In that moment, it was like, oh, is it the right thing to do? Should I have done that? Within 10 seconds, my team was like, oh my God, thank you. Like finally somebody stuck up to them. Finally somebody really, was on our side, and it was like, those are the things I'm good at, right? Like those are the moments that like, that's kind of what I do. But I worry too much about like, well, I didn't do this earlier. And I wasn't this 2 days ago. And so I tend to never really look for the opportunity to do those things that I'm wired for. And so I try to step into places that I'm not to fill that space, and it's not as good, right? Like I said earlier, like if you had asked me 5 days ago, I'm a systems guy. Put me in any company, I'll put in a system, operations. That's not true.
I agree.
That's not what I am.
I agree.
I'm the like 0 to 25% guy. I come in with a little diorama thing and say, hey, can you take this weird looking thing and make it awesome? And then people do.
That's right.
But I've spent so much time in the last 6 years saying, I'm this person. Put me in this role because I was scared about this role.
Right.
Right. And so I think that's the gap I feel is I'm like, I don't want to be where I am today. And it's a little scary
Yep.
to be somewhere else.
Yep. I think for most leaders / people, we find a greater comfort in attempting to provide what we think other people need.
Yeah.
Than we do allowing ourselves to be in a position to be what other people want.
Yeah. That's true. That hits deep. And I think it hit deep about 3 months ago. I do a quarterly dinner with a few old colleagues. We still hang out, tell our war stories. And I was talking about like, oh, I'm a systems person and this, and this. And the lady goes, no, you're not. That was me. She goes, what you were good at is coming in our room, firing us all up, causing a ton of energy, and then going away. She goes, we did the organization. You got us fired up. You got us to believe that we could do whatever we wanted and that we could achieve it. She goes, you didn't put in the systems. And I went, oh man, you're right. I came in and gave a vision, and then I walked down the hallway and came back and you guys did it. And I'm like, that's the part I've been missing.
Right.
Because I've been telling myself that I'm the one in there organizing.
Right.
When really what I'm good at is bringing the energy.
That's right.
Let's get this thing going. Let's make it happen. But I've been afraid to be that guy because I've been telling myself I'm the operations guy.
Right. Because for all intents purposes, because everybody needs an operations person.
Yes.
But there's not as many people who want a high energy visionary.
Yeah. And it doesn't combat with other high energy visionaries in companies, right? So like that was my 3 years ago.
Right.
The CEO and I were just like this.
Yep.
Because I was the only one in the company who would stand there and go like, we're not doing that.
Yep.
And so I think it kind of like took that away from me of like, I gotta be less and calm and subservient and like, don't rock the boat.
Right.
And I'm like, no, that's what I'm good at, rocking the boat.
Yeah.
That's what like, I shake things up.
Right. And sometimes, if not all the time, in order to paddle a boat, the boat is rocked.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways to rock the boat.
Yeah.
That are not for the intent of making people seasick or throwing them in the water.
Yeah.
I've never been on a moving boat that wasn't rocking.
Yeah.
So if the boat's going to go, but if we define rocking the boat as causing disturbance going to combat
Yeah.
or making other people uncomfortable, then we're probably going to be less likely to do it.
Yeah. I call it a dust up. I'll tell my team like, all right, it's time for a dust up. What that means is I'm about to rock the boat.
That's right. It's time to kick the
we're
dust
about
up.
to shake some stuff up. There's going to be a lot of chaos and noise. Let's just let it happen. I'm going to sit right in the middle of it and then we'll get it organized. Right. And like, if I picture in the last year, the things that have driven the most clarity for my team, the most success, the most forward movement is when I lean into the, like, I'm willing to dust it up. And again, not combat. I don't come in swinging at leaders and say like,
Right.
you didn't do this. It's just like, hey,
Yep.
how are we going to solve this?
Yep.
You know? And so I think that's the tension of, I know that's there and I'm good at that. But most days I resort back to the, let's turn the volume down. Let's stay peaceful.
And I think to give us a way for both you and I think for listeners to be able to say, how do I apply this?
Yeah.
All your things you just said in analogies are correct, but it's still using old words that have to do with a tactical thing as opposed to something that's more intrinsic and deeper.
Yes.
If I could spend daily less time doing things I think others need me for and doing more things that I think I am wanted for, I bet I would spend more time in my lane.
Yeah. So I'm a big journaler, right? I do the daily thing.
Yep.
But one of the things at the bottom of my journal, I've got 5 words that it's a plus or minus each day. And some of them are play, create, what's my energy, what's my with people. I looked heading here, how I've been doing. Create is the biggest one on that page. I love building stuff. I want new stuff. I always want to do the next thing. It's been a minus 3 months in a row. One day it was a plus. And I read the notes from that page. We got more stuff done. People felt motivated. People felt like we were heading somewhere. And so it's like, what's keeping me daily from that's easy. Great. That's an easy thing to do. I got 9 hours at work. I can set my own schedule, but I find myself not doing the things that I know, if I do them, drive the most value and make me the most happy. And so that's the question I haven't figured out yet is why do I do that?
Because you want to be needed.
Yeah.
Because let's go back to the beginning. Because you've been told your entire life that you're a hurricane.
Yeah.
You're a tank. You're a force to be reckoned with. That if you enter a room, bad things happen.
People need naps after. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what you will then, at this point in life, we do that long enough. We hear that long enough. We live that and get some experience that long enough. So, but guess what is synonymous with hurricane, tank, energy, loud? I would say that's your definition for creating.
Yeah.
So if the single thing that drives the greatest desire, passion in you also drives the quote unquote, people want that from me, and it's related to the thing that potentially causes the most damage.
Yeah.
To be wanted causes damage. To be needed causes peace.
Yeah.
So I will instead do what I think, not what they tell me,
Yeah.
what I think people need, because if they are happy, at least I didn't do anything bad.
And which I'm not good at.
Not at all.
No. And I feel that daily. It's like, I really tried hard to make them feel this and they're still this. And I didn't execute.
And I can
right.
tell you 90% of those people are not thinking about you or what you did.
Yeah.
They're thinking about them and what they want.
No, that's real. Yeah. No, that's real. Yeah.
And so it's, again, I think it's a, I was going to say fine line, but I don't really like that metaphor. Like it is a constant tension of the belief that we have to have that our own self-worth is not selfish.
Yeah.
It's the own belief that our capacity to see ourselves clearly enough to bring the kind of value that only we can bring, right? And we see it on every meme. We see it on every guru out there who's saying something, probably myself included to some degree. We're saying something about be in your lane, do the thing only you can do. If it's not in your wheelhouse, let somebody else do it. Like it all very easy to say.
Yeah.
I think in corporate often there's an additional hurdle you have to go get over that I think an entrepreneur, a business owner sort of has the freedom. I have a freedom to be in my lane. And if I'm not good at it, I'll find someone, hire someone, I'll do something because it's my job to do the thing only I can do because that's what and I need to hire you to do the thing only you can do. Right.
Yeah.
And I think somewhere, oftentimes in corporate spaces, we lose that sort of, we lose that. I don't know if malleability is a right word, but that's
But
a
it's
word.
an excuse.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because we go, it's either this or this.
Yeah.
And the answer is no, it's not. It's both.
Yeah.
Mixed together almost always.
Or if I want to get to that next place, this is the kind of person they want for that.
Right.
So I better act like that kind of.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
How can you, I think instead of looking for the answer to the question of why don't we attempt to create an activity that will drive us towards the how?
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah.
And I think that's a framework we can use in a lot of places. In this instance, let's not try to determine why do I do this? I don't know, because you do. Great. Chalk it up to
Keep
because
that trauma back there.
let's try because you do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But so how, right? How go to your point you just made. Often the trauma that we've experienced.
Yeah.
How do we recover from that?
Yeah.
We don't recover from it by knowing why it happened. We recover from it because we know how to do it differently now.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Now, the awareness, we have to have the awareness. Otherwise we can't change our actions. That's welcome to anything, but you are aware. You are
very
keenly aware.
No, that's the terrible part.
Right. You're almost aware to the point of paralysis.
Yeah. Too aware.
So how then go to your activities you already have in place. You're already a journaler. Mm-hmm. You're fairly self-aware.
Yep.
You have some reflective time. You're sort of in control of your own calendar.
Yep.
Okay. So then add someplace on there. I would suggest someplace on there that every day you have to answer, what did I do today that I wanted to? Okay. And how many things did I do today that I felt like they needed me to?
I like that.
And did they in fact need me to?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I've been doing, I call them people pleasing prompts. Got the 3 P's, but it's questions like, today, did I soften communication because I was afraid of what they would think?
Right.
Did I bend on a yes or no? That should have been a yes or no, period.
Right. And what's happening there, and we talk about this often, if accountability, which is something you enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
I define accountability as simply being reminded of what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except every question you're asking yourself currently is about what you don't.
Oh, man. Wrap it up, folks.
So if accountability is being reminded of what we want, I want you to ask questions that are asking you if you're doing what you want, not asking you if you did the thing you hate.
Yeah. Okay. No,
now that's natural because I think our age, we're both in our 40s, sort of our age gap of, let's call it 32 to 42, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Most of us grew up in shame-driven accountability.
Sure. Yeah.
You know that thing you hated, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was close, dude. That was good. You almost,
No, that's right.
Don't backslide.
Yeah.
Don't backslide. Would you follow me? All the things that grew up in our life.
Bounce your ass.
That's right. Wait a second. No, why are we not, both with others and ourselves, why are we not asking ourselves daily, are we doing the things that we want?
Which makes more sense if what I say fires me up is future vision out, but I spend all my time reflecting on what's behind me. I'm never going to look forward. To your point, right? Like,
that's right.
Every day, reflection is great, right? But I spend more time thinking about, like, what didn't I do? What didn't I do? I think you're right. I think framing it as, where did I create today?
That's right.
Where did I bring my clarity and communication?
Yes.
Where did I inspire somebody to do an action they weren't going to do? Where did I focus somebody? Those are the things I love, right?
That's right.
I spend zero time.
That's right.
On those. Okay.
Yeah. Sort of the metaphor, and we'll wrap it with this. Encourage you to think through. How often are you spending? And is your present posture have a future vision?
Yeah.
With a past predictability. How often are your feet today facing the wrong direction, trying to cast a future vision?
Oh, yeah.
And so if daily we're standing with our feet and our face facing the past, trying to reconcile things that are now no longer in our control, yet pontificating a future vision, then we will tolerate bad behavior.
That's good. Yeah.
And so in the pursuit of what we want, in the pursuit of being the father that you know you will continually become.
Yeah.
In pursuit of becoming the leader you want to become, in pursuit of becoming the husband you know you are capable of becoming, not being, not arriving, not ending at, right? We're not trying to get to 50 and be like, well, all right, we've peaked as a husband. It's downhill from here.
That's right.
That's not the goal, right? We've seen that a lot.
That's all you got.
Didn't play out in their favor, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think the same thing is true in all those other places, especially for somebody who's a dreamer, who's a creator, are your present feet in a past posture?
Oh, that's good.
And if so, we're probably trying to attempt to give people what we think they need that we missed yesterday, rather than asking them to go with us to the place we know we want to go tomorrow.
No, I can picture in my head. I'm always facing toward them, look over my shoulder, saying, when we get there.
That's right.
Yeah, that's good.
That's right. Yep. I appreciate that.
We solved it.
We solved it. We did it. We did it. I so appreciate you joining us. If you're a leader and you're thinking through to yourself and you're looking at, man, I resonate with Josh. I resonate with what he's saying. I feel the way that he is feeling, both personally, professionally, in any of those places. I would encourage you, ask yourself, how often do you find yourself in a position where your feet, your present place, is in a past posture, but you're trying to communicate a future vision? How often do you find yourself doing the thing that you think others need from you, rather than attempting to show up daily, providing the thing for them that you want to provide for them, knowing that you're the only person who can provide it in that way? I would love for you, if you're thinking through that, if that's something for you are contemplating and you're thinking, man, I need some of that, and I got to figure that part out in my life, I would encourage you to join me this month for our leadership session that we have. You can go to rockygarza.com/confidence. Again, that's rockygarza.com/confidence. The link is there. I would love for you to come bring your team. And this month we are hosting a leadership session where we're going to go through and talk about, how do we assess that in ourselves? How do we look at who we are, just like Josh and I did today? And how do we apply that in real time for what we're doing on a daily basis? I so appreciate you being with us. Thank you for tuning in to the Rocky Garza Show, and we'll see you soon.